First off, I'd say Dom Perignon. Yay, we did a $25 million round. Now, that generally sounds about the size of probably like a Series B. It could be, well, these days they're kind of all over the map, but generally that sounds kind of like a Series B, a really small Series C. But with that money, investors usually are asking you to kind of invest in people, product, and, grow sales. So from a people front, it's just kind of hiring up. So again, it's the types of employment packages you're providing. I've already discussed kind of equity compensation and the things that kind of brings with it. The other thing about people is where you're actually hiring the people. We've already discussed how having people everywhere kind of creates nexus everywhere. What we're seeing these days is that's also happening on an international front a lot sooner rather than later. Normally, you'd think of a Series C to kind of do international expansion, but some people are doing it much earlier these days. They're hiring a single employee in a country. They now do have international PEOs that make that a lot easier to actually handle. You are going to pay a lot more because you're utilizing the PEO, but it's a lot cheaper than actually creating an entity and being fully compliant. So yeah, that's the people front. From a product front, you're already doing R&D. So hopefully you're already taking your R&D credit. You're electing to offset that against your Social Security employer payroll taxes. Unfortunately, you can only do that to the extent you're a small business. So you may or may not be kind of on the cusp of that at a $25 million round. But you're going to continue in R&D, so you should be aware, of the R&D tax credit and potentially the offset against payroll. Something else that is just coming about now is Section 174, and that is actually mandatory capitalization of R&D expenses. So to the extent you're currently in a loss, but a significant portion of your expenses are related to R&D, it may actually cause a few hiccups in the road over the next few years because you could potentially pop into a profitable position just because of the mandatory capitalization of these expenses. We're actually looking at it across our client base based on 2020 just to kind of see which one of our clients might be close or not. And then finally, to wrap up on the sales front, you're obviously out there increasing sales, which is going to increase your footprint, both domestically and hopefully internationally. So again, we need to focus on, do we have enough sales within a jurisdiction that creates nexus from a sales tax standpoint? Are we properly accounting for VAT and GST on the international front? And it's probably more difficult for the tax authorities in states and countries to find you. But where this comes out is in your financial statement audit. Your auditors tend to be a lot closer to the facts and a lot more aggressive than the tax authorities. So they're going to force you to ensure that you have all the proper reserves for, estimated exposure, everything else booked on your books.